As I mentioned earlier this morning, in studio, Amanda Cambridge, the mum of the late little Avery James Green, who drowned in Spain in August of last year. In studio with Amanda, her good friend Emer Barry, who's a swim teacher with Turtle Tots. And I only learned yesterday when I was preparing for this conversation with the girls that Avery was due to get swimming lessons from Emer when he returned from his holidays in Spain. He was in the Costa Blanca. We all know the story because we were all heartbroken for the family at such a tragic set of events. And as I say, Amanda and Emer join me in studio. So good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Neil.
And I know that even talking about it is difficult for you, and then if you multiply that up in a radio studio talking to me, so I don't mean to pry.
I know. I've been in contact by other papers. I've been in contact by magazines and shows in the UK, and I just found that there was no purpose to it. That it wasn't just a story. This is my reality.
I understand that.
It's my everyday reality, it's my husband's reality.
Why should I talk about it?
Yeah, it wasn't just for airtime, to fill a page in a magazine. And when I saw this post that Emer had put up, this was the purpose, to get the message across how important swimming is for children. Avery loved water, but when he saw water, he only saw the laughter, the fun, the ball playing, the jumping in and out, and
no fear. Even though you would try to teach him, water is dangerous, and like a pot of hot water is very dangerous. You'd say that's so he's
hot.
Not going to know whether he's got armbands on or not. He's just going to go for it.
I think the armbands gave me, I suppose, a false sense of reassurance, of protection. He never left the apartment without his armbands. He was never around the pool without his armbands. I thought that was okay because I would have always been there.
And of course you were that morning.
I was there, yeah.
And he was watching television with his bottle, wasn't he?
Yeah, we got up and we were tidying up because my husband was arriving that morning.
Who was there with you?
There was myself, my two girls, and my dad.
Right.
We had been out the night before with family friends, the Maverleys. We'd gone for a lovely dinner. We had a great night, and got up the next morning. We knew Daddy was coming on the plane, so we were tidying up, and he asked for his bottle and he wanted to watch Paw Patrol. So I did. I lay him on the couch with his blankies and his bottles and tucked him in, kissed him, and went off about tidying. Went to the bathroom, made sure that was clean, went to the bedroom, and came back out, and all that was left on the couch was a bottle and two blankets. So I didn't panic because it didn't even pop into my head that he had left. I checked the bedroom and I checked the bathroom, and I was, Avery, where are you? Thought he was hiding until I went outside. And I called, Avery, are you around?
Started to panic now?
No, still, no,
Okay.
no panic. Until the man next door said, did I hear right? And I said, yeah, Avery's missing. He said, oh my God, there's a baby in the pool. And I knew it. I knew straight away. I ran. I just ran and turned the corner, and I could see him. I could see him lying there, but I just couldn't get to him fast enough. He was so close, but he was so far away. And that was the longest run I ever had in my life.
Did you jump in?
No, he was out of the water at that stage. Yeah. I had, I could hear my feet thumping off the floor. I could hear myself screaming his name, and got down there, and thankfully there was a lady staying there She was from Sweden. I think she was a paramedic, and she was performing CPR on him by the time I got down there, and just fell next to him and was shaking his leg and rubbing his hands and saying, Avery's time to wake up now. You're going to be fine. Games are over. Never thinking that the outcome that we did have 24 hours later, that he was gone.
Yeah, but there was a pulse, wasn't there? And
they did. It turned into absolute mayhem. We lived in a gated community. There were no barriers around the pool. There was no lifeguard, and the man on the opposite side of the apartment had been out with his son. His son was only 17, and he pulled him out of the pool. There was 12, if not 15 paramedics rushed in, tried, worked on him. There was helicopters, ambulance. There was just people there was people taking photographs. And I remember,
why?
I don't know. There was people taking photographs, and I remember one man came out of his apartment, had a cup of coffee in his hand, and just stood at the end of the pool watching, drinking his cup of coffee. And I just got so cross that I actually made a run for him. And I said, I was screaming at him, this isn't a spectator sport, that's my child.
Yes, I can understand that. This is not for your entertainment.
No. So I think the police had arrived and they saw how upset I was, and they moved everybody into their their apartments. And so there was myself, my dad, Leanne Maverly, her dad Chris, they were my support there.
But Robin and Lucia are there as well, aren't they?
Robin and Lucia were asleep, and that's what I had said to someone. I said, go up to that apartment and do not let them come down here, because it's not something that they need to see. They were 8 and 6 at the time.
And was Eric in the air at this stage?
Eric was in the air at the time, yeah. We couldn't contact him. So in the meantime, I was trying to get on to people, to organise to pick him up from the airport. And we have a good friend over there, Anne, who would do the drop collections and the run collections, drop us to the airport and bring us back. So she met him at the airport, and he actually got to the hospital before I did, because Avery was airlifted from the pool. They had to land on the beach. I obviously couldn't go in the helicopter with him, so my friend Leanne and myself drove, and Eric was closer. The airport was closer to the hospital than I was, and arrived at the hospital, and they just kept saying, and even just to see Eric's face, to walk in to try and explain, because I didn't even know what had happened or how it had happened. I just kept saying, he went into the pool, and we just walked the corridors for hours and hours, and all they said was, we need time. He needs time. He is a very sick little boy. We need time. And then you have the language barrier. There was only kind of one nurse that could speak English. Everybody else spoke Spanish, and they were lovely and they were really helpful. But that's all they said. We need time. We need time.
You must have felt optimistic though, because there's still a heart beating.
And I suppose on the drive up, myself and Leanne were talking about it, and Leanne said, it's good they found a pulse. It's good they found a pulse. But in my own, and I had said it to Leanne, I said, but Leanne, he has been without oxygen. I don't know if I do get him back, what quality of life he's going to have, and I pray to God, Jesus, I ask God, I said, take me, give him back, take me instead. I prayed to my mom, give him back, I just want him here. And they tried everything. He only spent a few hours there, and we went in and we saw him, and it looked like he was sleeping. You know, his hair was perfect and he was all red and rosy, and there wasn't a mark on him. We played Paw Patrol. You know, we put Paw Patrol on our phones, and you know, tried to encourage him to wake up. But I think deep down in the hospital, yeah,
really,
yeah, we did.
After you had been told that he had passed away?
No, this was before.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They just kept on saying
they say that that's important.
We need time. We need time. He needs time.
You were trying to encourage him to hear things.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking to him, and
part of his life. Yeah. Your voice.
Yeah.
Cartoons.
You know.
Songs.
So yeah, myself and Eric played Paw Patrol and put it up to his ear, and you know, we were rubbing his head and kissing his head. I kissed every finger and every toe and every eyelash, and I counted 48 freckles on his nose, and yeah, so we just sat there and we just had to wait, you know. He was perfect. He looked perfect, you know.
And were you there when his little heart stopped?
Yeah. We were just called in. Myself and Eric were brought into a room, and the nurse the doctor had children herself, and she was just absolutely heartbroken. You know, she was crying, telling us, she said, you know, there's nothing, you know, he's gone. And then they brought up the organ donation, and myself and Eric didn't have to bat an eyelid, you know, because in the corridor that Avery was on, he was in the last room, so we would have to pass other rooms with other little babies, other little children, and they had been there longer than him. They looked sicker than him, and we kind of just thought, if any part of Avery could save one of those children, you know, let's do it. You know, we didn't hesitate. We said, yeah, you know, take what you can.
And all of this happened like so fast, didn't it? It was such a very, very fast set of historic events.
Yeah.
Like the morning, the prepping the house, Eric coming out, you know, he goes to the pool, falls in the hospital, passes away, all in a day. All in a day. In a matter of hours.
Yeah.
And then you have to deal with that then for the rest of your life.
We had to spend 10 days over there trying to get him home. You know, having his body repatriated so we could get him home. And you know, the Kevin Bell Fund had just been absolutely amazing.
Right. They are incredible.
You know,
and were you aware of the outpouring of grief back at home then from everybody?
I was. I was.
He was so young. The circumstances were so tragic. It would be any parent's nightmare, mine included, incidentally. I have lost my toddler children on a number of occasions in Spain, and I thought I was going to die from the panic.
Yeah.
It pales into insignificance what you went through, but all of us could relate to your tragedy, you see.
I suppose I did know what was, you know, I read a few comments, and you know, people pointing fingers and people saying, you know, well, where was she? You know, aren't parents minding their kids anymore?
But they're idiots.
You know, and I just
like the idiots who filmed the poolside with their phone.
You know, and
did that clearly that would hurt you, that people were apportioning blame upon you?
It did hurt me, but what part of that, you know, you would say isn't true?
None of it's true.
You know, I wake up with, I blame myself for what happened, because I was clean. I did turn my back on him, you know, and I have so much regret. I have so much, you know, what ifs. If I had done this, if I didn't care that the shower was squeaky clean, if I didn't care that the beds were made, you know, I do have a lot of regret, and I carry enough blame for everybody, because it was me that was there. It was my watch, you know, he was my child, and I suppose any parent would carry some portion of blame.
And regardless of what people will say to you, family, your husband, your parents, all of your siblings, you still have that doubt, that guilt, do you?
Definitely. And I'll carry that forever.
Every day?
Every day. Every morning. Every night. You know, I don't get to kiss my son goodnight anymore. I get to blow a kiss to a box of ashes that's in my bedroom. You know, I don't get to hold his hand. I get to look at pictures. And the memories, you know, I have memories, oh my God, I have memories of that day. You know, memories of looking at him in the hospital bed and him looking like he was just asleep. He, as I said, he was warm and he was fresh, and then I have the memories of him not being fresh and him being cold and him lying on a slab.
But if you feel responsible for it, Amanda, how do you carry on?
Because I have 2 other children that need me. If I didn't have 2 other children, I think I'd probably be next to him. You know? I suppose that's how strongly I feel about this children learning to swim.
So if
he might have had a chance if he had the skills, you know, like the roll over and float, the grabbing for the wall.
After the break, I promise you I will, and I don't mean to overly pry, but I'm just getting a sense that you're saying that to some extent rearing your children is your job and it's your responsibility. Even though Avery is gone, you have responsibility. But I'm getting a feeling that the love of life has gone out of you.
It would.
That you're functioning.
Well, I'll say that when Avery was born, and when the day he was born, I put a post up, I'm complete. He absolutely completed my family. And when he died, I suppose a part of me died as well.
Okay, compose yourself there, because I know it is absolutely so hard for you to relive it all again, and I do appreciate you taking the time. We'll pick it up after the break. In studio, Amanda Cambridge and Emer Barry, back after these. In conversation with Amanda Cambridge, and also in studio with her good friend Emer Barry. Just ahead of that, we also at the same time were aware of another child in Cork, a 5-year-old girl who drowned in Germany. Emmy Eckert. She was on holidays with her parents as well. She went missing, was found in a lake. Drowning is the second biggest cause of accidental pediatric death. The number 1 cause of children's death is road traffic accidents, and the second one is drowning. I wasn't aware of that, actually. And in studio, as I say, Amanda and Emer. And Emer, I said in the introduction there earlier on that when Avery was coming home from his holidays after Spain, he was to start with you and do lessons, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah. And myself and Amanda had a lengthy conversation just prior to their departure on holidays that as soon as they were home, really, Avery had to start swimming. It was a good age to start. And yeah, I was really looking forward.
And we can't turn the clock back now, and it's very emotive what Amanda had to say, and I'm really moved by your sense of personal responsibility, incidentally. That really troubles me, actually, to be quite honest. But what skills would he have had if he had had some lessons?
So basically my teachings really are teachings with turtle tots. They're life-saving skills. So, you know, at toddler level, one of the first skills we teach is how to enter a pool, first of all. And that would be sitting poolside, putting your hands across your lap over onto the wall and turning over, wiggling, that you're holding onto the pool. So that's how you teach a toddler how to enter a pool safely, rather than jumping, you know, what a toddler would do would naturally jump straight in.
Out of your depth, and of course then you can never recover.
So you teach them their safe entry, which is to sit down poolside, hands over to the side, roll over and wiggle, hold on to the wall.
Okay. And can you learn that in a lesson or two?
Well, in a term you would learn, you know, so you have 10 weeks in a term.
Yeah, but if you had a pair of armbands on you, you'd probably learn that skill faster.
Yeah, well, we encourage to teach without armbands,
right?
Well, in Avery's case, that fateful morning, he hadn't his armbands on, so
You need to teach skills in the event of no armband.
Absolutely. And also, I suppose, confidence, that we install confidence into children and toddlers, that if they do make the jump into the pool, to kick and look for the wall, reach for the wall.
And you're aware of the story the other day of the family from the UK on holidays in a pool, and they also drowned. No, I don't. There's some inquiry into that one.
Absolutely.
But how did you feel, Emer, when did Amanda call you, or did somebody tell you what had happened?
So I had actually just arrived in France myself with my husband and my 2 kids on the Sunday, and this is the Monday morning. We went down to the pool for a swim with our 2 kids, came back from the pool at lunchtime, and I had missed call from Uncle Dave, who would be Avery's uncle.
Dave Kelleher.
I
know him, yeah.
And I've seen, this is peculiar, we had a text message from Dave saying, Conor, could you ask Emer to contact me as soon as you get the message?
Are you very close, both of you?
Extremely close. Close.
From school days or?
From the dental school. We were both dental nurses a long time ago now. And
not too long.
A long time ago, and we've just always supported Amanda's.
So did you call her?
No, I called Dave. Not in a million years thinking, I thought maybe Avery had stayed back with Eric in Ireland, and that Dave Kelleher was ringing to ask a question about, did I know something about Avery that he needed, or, something about him. Not in a million years could I have imagined what Dave was about to tell me, on the phone. And Dave said that he had entered the pool and that he had drowned that morning. He was on life support. And it was just,
This can't be.
This cannot be. Being honest with you, Neil, I'm still sitting here saying this cannot be, but it is.
This can't be. He's got to come back. I have to teach him how to swim. There's bargaining that we go through.
Absolutely. Of all things to happen to beautiful, gorgeous Avery, not this. And I know Amanda, and I've known Amanda for a long, long time. So in my mind in France, my thinking was, how on earth could this have happened? Because Amanda is one of the best mums I know. Super mum. I'm extremely close to the 2 girls and to Avery, and I have seen her in action with her kids. Eric, one of the best fathers, But I say
how do you deal with her belief that she has a responsibility in the death of her son?
Well, it's Amanda's reality, and I suppose I'm a mother myself to 2 children, and I understand the responsibility as a mother. When I came back, I flew back to Amanda and Derek and the 2 girls. I left my husband and my 2 kids out in France, and I came home to them here. And I suppose what was here to greet me, I will never forget. The pain, and the hurt. And I suppose the reality being, I do not ever want to see a family go through this again.
So who teaches our children to swim? I was really, really small when I learned to swim. It was in Eglinton Baths. I think there was a family of people called Campions at the time. They taught all of Cork to swim. And all of my kids know how to swim. And I can't remember, did the school organise that, or did my parents pay for it, or did I pay for my kids' lessons? Who picks up the tab for this?
Yeah, your mum and dad would have picked the tab up. I think you passed comment that you were about 2 or 3 when you started swimming, and absolutely your mum and dad picked up the tab for this, Neil. They are introducing swimming lessons into schools in Ireland. Some schools, not every school in Ireland. But we're still paying towards our swimming lessons.
We have pools in Cork, don't we?
Absolutely.
So tell me where we have pools. You've got Douglas. right?
Oh, there are numerous pools.
Where else have we got?
There's Leisure World in Bishopstown here, and then you have many hotels with pools,
But where are the other municipal ones? Is there one in the north?
There's Churchfield.
Okay. They're all open and working and everything.
Yeah, there's
open
one in
and
Mallow.
working, but I suppose...
So there's no coaches picking up primary school students and taking them on a Wednesday morning for an hour swimming lessons. That doesn't happen.
They are, but it's privately funded,
privately,
so it's up to the school to organise this.
So you want the state, and you've written, and using the tragedy of Amanda's son Avery and Eric's son, to change that.
Absolutely. And in my lifetime, if that's what I contribute to this, that's
what do you
good
want to
enough
see
for
happen?
me. I want to see state-funded swimming lessons, or a subsidy, to subsidise the lessons at least. Also, I mean, my own son started swimming lessons through education in 3rd class, and it's just too far too late. If you look at the statistics, and if you look, we've got Emmy, we have Avery, we have that beautiful little boy, if we remember, back in 2017, the Quality Hotel down in Youghal.
That's right.
Okay, I think it's Ronan Kennedy was his name. These kids were between ages 3 and 5.
So what would you say to people who would say, yeah, but none of that would happen if they were wearing armbands?
Well, armbands aren't going to save your life, because if you turn over and armbands, you could turn the wrong way.
That way, no?
Absolutely, you could turn upside down,
But the real answer is that, but it's also, you can't be watching them 24/7, and if they were going to the pool and we knew they were going to the pool, they would have armbands on.
Absolutely.
But it's the times when we don't know what they're doing, and you don't have eyes in the back of your head.
Absolutely. Well, in Amanda's circumstance here, they weren't poolside when this accident happened.
But should there not be barriers around all pools then?
Well,
It's physically impossible to fall in.
It's impossible to have all precautions at all times, to cover all measures, really. And I suppose the measure that we can cover is to get our kids swimming as early as possible, and to have intervention, at preschool level, that we're teaching our preschool level kids how, these life skills, as I said. If they fall in, give them confidence in water, to kick to the wall.
Many things may happen to you in life, but you will never drown.
Absolutely.
Apart from riptides and things like that.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly that. I'm not saying that it's going to save their life, but it's giving them a chance. Had Avery had even a term with me, prior to his death, it could have given him a chance.
Because your life is all ifs, isn't it, Amanda? If this, if that, if
it is now. My 2 girls, they're like fish, and my children have been in the pool since they were 6 months old. Their dad would bring them swimming on the, we made sure that they got them 1 swimming lessons before we went to Spain every year, just to strengthen them. And Avery didn't have swimming. We would bring him to the pool, but it was more about getting used to the water, and his head getting wet, and playing games and stuff, making it fun, not trying to put the fear of God in him when it came to water.
The lessons were going to come, and that you were on the process, like the
lessons
girls.
were going to come, and as far as the armbands go, they did give him a false sense of security, because when he did go into the pool with his armbands on, he could float and he could play and he could splash, and we never brought him into the water without armbands, so he didn't know. He didn't know the difference. He didn't know the difference.
But when you talk about your sense of responsibility and trying to get to him, does the nightmare also include, I'm just wondering now, whether your nightmare also includes how he must have felt in those final moments?
Most definitely. A few days later with Emer at home, we were just sitting at the table, and as Emer said, she was saying, this just cannot be it, there has to be more. And I had asked her, I said, Emer, tell me, would he have suffered? Because in my own head, I thought, oh my God, you know, was he screaming, Mommy, you know, was he splashing around? And, you know, but she just said no.
I think that's the misperception of drowning, you know.
I'm wondering, are you telling her what she wants to hear, or are you telling her the truth?
100% not. We have a misperception about drowning. In the movies we watch drowning, and it's, you know, frantic. Drowning, it's silent. You know, drowning a lot of the time is silent. They're under the water, so, and especially in times of panic, you have a gasp reflex. So, you know, if you fall,
is it quick?
A child can drown within 20 seconds. An adult
do you take
can
consolation that it would have been quick?
I do.
Misfortune.
I do. That, and as Emer said, you know, you do see in the, like, I cannot watch a movie where with water and children and drowning, and, you know, because it brings back, you know, I wasn't there. Did this happen to him? You know, was there splashing? Was there shouting? Was there screaming? Would somebody have heard him? But
why didn't I hear him? All that kind of thing.
Yeah, you know. But it was silent, and Jesus, I pray to God that he looked like he didn't suffer, because he looked perfect. And it does only take 20 seconds. You know that
you know, they say it can take 20 seconds, 60 seconds for an adult. If you fall into the water, you know, you're surprised, you gasp, and if you gasp and inhale that water, then that's that. You know.
Are you overprotective with the girls now?
I'm very overprotective.
Too much so?
They're never behind me anymore. They're always in front of me. If I go for a shower, they're sitting on the bed, the door is open.
Yeah.
If we're walking anywhere, I'm walking behind them, you know. And I was always overprotective. I was the mother that, you know, if I saw them jumping on the couch, you know, I'd be, get off that couch, you're going to break your arm. If I saw them without their helmets, you know, at the side of the road, stand back, you know, the cars are coming. I was always protective, and I was protective when it came to everything. You know, do not bring a bouncy castle near my house, do not bring a trampoline near my house, because I just saw them all as danger you know, broken arms, broken legs, bopping heads.
Tell me about it. We had a trampoline and a kid broke his finger on it.
You know,
so you're right there.
I just you see, you know, you see danger everywhere, but this, never in my wildest dreams, and for any parent would they think that, you know, one night you can be out and you can be having a great time, and, you know, your son could be sitting down next to you, and, you know, you're laughing, tell him to get his hair cut, you know.
No, he's a stunning young fella. His hair was gorgeous.
When you say to him, you know, go get, my dad would say, oh, Avery, go get a haircut, and he'd be like, I got my haircut, Granda, already, you know. And they're kind of the
He's stunning.
He is gorgeous. He's my son.
No, he is. Like, I can independently confirm
he is gorgeous.
He's a stunning lad.
He was. And they're hard to look at. Those photographs are hard to look at, because they're all we have. He'll never get older.
Do you have videos?
Loads and loads.
Did you watch them?
I didn't.
Not yet.
I watched funny videos. There was one where he just asked, you know, for a red tricycle, you know, and there was, we took foreign students, and Martha, one of our students, had taken a video. She was trying to get a biscuit off him, and there was no way he was handing over that tin of biscuits. You know, he was no, and he'd scrunch up his face to her.
He'd
no,
take the tin of biscuits under the table and eat it himself.
You know, and if anybody knocked at the door, you'd have to make sure Avery had his pants on, because he, no matter where he was,
no filters,
he would take the pants off, take the socks off, and just walk around free as a bird, happy out. You know, all those good memories, and the girls have good memories of him, and, you know, they find it very hard that he's not around anymore. The house, the dynamic of the family, the house is completely different. You know, we have to pass his room. and it's empty. His bed isn't slept in.
Has it brought you closer together, relationships-wise?
No.
It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's tough.
Being brutally honest, no, it hasn't. There are some situations where, this has ripped a family completely down the centre. Completely down the centre. And, we don't know whether we'll ever recover. We'll try, we'll try, but we don't know if we'll
You're
ever.
carrying a lot of that, aren't you? You as a person are carrying that split.
Yeah.
Because of the day and you being there and the events that happened, and lots of other family members who weren't there and are wondering why or
Yeah,
what ifs.
exactly.
That's a huge. You need to let that burden go, though. That's impossible, I can't really. Who am I to say?
Maybe in time, but we're only in January now. It was in August, but I can say maybe in time, but I don't think I'll ever not take responsibility for it.
Have you got any counselling, or did you talk to anybody about that?
I did. I went to counselling for months, and I just found that every time I went, I was just rehashing the same story over and over again, and I'd talk about the same things over and over again, and I kind of wasn't getting anywhere, and I would come out and I'd be absolutely shattered. I'd be absolutely heartbroken, and I would find that it would just take me days and I would replay it over and over and over in my head. So I stopped going, and
that's fine though, isn't it? It's not for everybody.
Yeah. I did. I stopped going, and I went back to work, and I found that the girls went back to school, and I just thought that I cannot sit at home, by myself, pondering, wondering, thinking, so I went back to work, and I filled my days with helping other people. I work in a nursing home in Mallow, so we work with dementia, and so I look after them, and they keep my days busy, and the girls keep my days busy when I come back from school.
And when you talk of the hours after Avery went into the pool and pleading with God and take me in, is all that gone now? Is religion gone to you? Is God gone to you? What God could do this kind of thing?
You'd say what God could take a 3-year-old that was loved so much and cherished, and I do go to Mass. I try to go to Mass every month on the 12th, and I bring my girls with me so that they have somewhere to go. But yeah, I suppose we can blame God for a lot of things.
You don't?
I don't.
This is just all part of...
Was it meant to be, because was it destiny,
You see, you don't blame God, because you blame yourself.
I blame myself. I suppose, yeah. Yeah, and I suppose that's what I would say. There is nobody else to blame. Who would you blame if you were able to blame someone?
Nobody.
But that's just me as Avery's mother. I blame myself. And
so all of the hugs in the world, and all of the compassion, and all of the people saying to you, don't, it doesn't change anything.
No.
It never will.
No, never. Ever.
Okay. I'll come back after the break, guys, just to wrap up. Again, this is a multifaceted conversation. Part of it, of course, is teaching small little children at the like maybe 2 or 3 years of age. I don't know what age you can start, maybe 6 months, how to swim. So we'll pick up on this after the break. In studio this morning with me was Amanda Cambridge, mum of the late Avery James Green, and indeed Emer Barry, her best friend, who does stellar work teaching small little children, preschool children, upwards, turtle tots to swim. And thank you so much for coming in, Amanda. And I hope that I didn't overly press. I don't mean to. I really want to say thank you for your honesty and your openness and your bravery. I wish you well.
Thank you very much. And that's it. It's about, if I have to tell my story 100 times over, just to get maybe one parent, one family into the water to teach their children how to respect water, the skills that they need if they get into difficulty. If my family can save one other family, that's all we want. Job is done.
Thank you for that. Thank you. I hope that things improve for you going forward. I really do.
Thank you.
Okay. So with that in mind, Emer, I want to support the campaign as best we can, and I hope that the Department of Education comes back with good news, because we're not talking about primary school children, we're talking about preschool children.
Preschool to primary, junior infants and senior infants.
Okay. And you expect a positive response from the department?
I hope so. I'm awaiting a response. I know that I suppose the link that I had sent to Amanda and Derek that Amanda was referring to earlier was on independent.ie, and it's worth a read if anybody's looking.
Saw that.
It's a wonderful article. It's written by Lynn Kelleher. It was on 5th of January.
Drowning is the second biggest cause of accidental death to children in Ireland. This is the study that's out.
And the researchers said evidence from Ireland's childhood mortality register shows drowning occurs more commonly in children aged 1 to 4 years.
They're not going to primary school.
And they're the kids, kids at this age. It's a privilege really to start swimming at this age.
Okay,
so,
and turtletots.ie is national, but you handle our area, don't you?
Yes, in Cork. Yes,
okay.
That's right.
And we have some places to give away for the next term for 5 young Cork kids. And I'm thinking rather than giving all 5 away now, we might do one a day over the next 5 or 6 days. Brilliant. Just to drive on the awareness.
Yes.
And if any parent wants to get in touch and get their children involved and learning to swim at start swimming before you can walk, for all I care. That's probably a good idea too.
Absolutely.
It's www.turtletots.ie.
That's correct. That's correct. And just, we're going into, there's sales now with Ryanair and Aer Lingus. We're going into the planning of summer holidays, where it's going to be pools and holidays, good times. Let it be a good time and keep our kids safe. Let's get them swimming.
That. Okay, www.turtletots.ie. Do you contemplate a summer holiday, Amanda?
I think we might go camping this year. We haven't talked about it. I don't think I would bring the children back to where we were. We might go somewhere else. I know. We'll see.
Okay.
It's something we're going to have to talk about.
Sit down and chat. It's only January.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much for coming into studio. I really do appreciate it. It's not easy for you to relive it all again.
Thank you.
And it's an honour to have you in here, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
And it's an honour to have Emer Barry as a friend. We're very, very proud of what she's doing. She deserves a big shout out.
Let's all be part of maybe trying to save more lives than this campaign.
Absolutely.
And come back to me when you get a response from the Department of Education.
Thank you, Neil. Thanks a million.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Emer. Back after.